The wilderness of Judah stretched endlessly, a land of jagged rocks and scorching sun. Somewhere among the caves and ravines, David and his men moved like ghosts, hunted, desperate, but unbroken. For years, Saul pursued them with a relentless fury, marching his soldiers across Israel, swearing he would not rest until David was dead. But no matter how many spies he sent, no matter how many cities he searched, David always slipped away. One night, as David sat by the fire, a scout rushed into the camp. "My lord," he panted, "Saul's army is near. They make camp in the valley just beyond the ridge." The men stirred uneasily. They were tired of running. A hushed murmur passed through them. "We should strike first. Why not kill him now and end this?" David's jaw tightened. He had made a vow to trust in Yahweh's timing, to never raise his hand against the anointed king. But Yahweh was about to test that vow. That night, David and his closest warrior Abishai crept through the darkness. Silent as shadows, they slipped past sleeping guards, weaving through the enemy camp until they reached the very center. There, Saul lay asleep. His spear was planted in the ground beside him. Abishai's breath quickened. His fingers itched for the weapon. "Yahweh has delivered your enemy into your hands," he whispered. "Let me strike him down. One thrust. I won't need a second." David stared down at the man who had sworn to kill him. The fire of vengeance burned hot in his chest, but deep within, Yahweh's voice was stronger. "Touch not my anointed." David exhaled slowly. "No," he whispered. "We will not kill him, but we will show him that we could have." He reached down and took Saul's spear. Then, without a sound, they disappeared into the night. As the first rays of morning lit the valley, David's voice rang out from a distant hill. "Saul!" Saul stirred, groggy. His men scrambled to their feet. Then he saw it. David stood on the ridge, holding his spear. "Why do you pursue me?" David called. "What evil have I done? Look, Yahweh delivered you into my hands last night, but I would not harm you." Saul's face paled. He looked at the spear, then at David. The truth crashed over him like a wave. He had become the villain. Saul sank to his knees. "You are more righteous than I," he called out. "I have played the fool. May Yahweh reward you for your mercy." But David knew Saul's regret would not last. The hunt would continue. Months passed. The chase never stopped. David and his men grew weary, starving, desperate. Then came a second chance. In the caves of En-Gedi, David and his men hid in the shadows. Saul entered alone, unaware of the hundreds of eyes watching from the darkness. One nod from David, and Saul would never leave that cave alive. But again, David refused. He would not take the throne by blood. Instead, he crept forward and cut a piece of Saul's robe. When Saul left the cave, David stepped out into the light. "My lord, the king!" Saul froze. The voice, David's voice, echoed against the cliffs. David held up the piece of fabric. "I could have killed you," he called, "but I will not lift my hand against Yahweh's anointed. Let Yahweh judge between us." Saul trembled. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Then his shoulders sagged. Tears welled in his eyes. "I know now," he choked out. "You will surely be king." But even as the words left his lips, David knew Saul's heart would turn again, and this time there would be no mercy. David had no choice. To save his men, to survive, he fled into enemy territory, the land of the Philistines, the very people he had once fought. He stood before King Achish of Gath, the same king who had once chased him out of his city in disgust. But this time, David was not a lone fugitive. He had an army, 600 battle-hardened men. David bowed low. "I seek refuge, my lord. Let me serve you." Achish studied him carefully. Then he smiled. A king fleeing from his own people, he mused. Very well, you will have Ziklag. It is yours to rule. And so, David, Israel's rightful king, became a mercenary for their greatest enemy. He played the part well, earning Achish's trust, but deep in his heart, he knew this was not his destiny. One day, Yahweh would restore him, but first, Saul had to fall, and soon he would.